Hey guys, welcome to Tech Notebook. In this video, I will be showing you how to make an intro that looks something like this. So, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is to go to the effects library and then drag down a fusion composition. The fusion composition's in the effects tab. And now you want to go into the fusion tab. And just to organize things a bit, I'm going to right click and then go to options and select orthogonal pipes, and then I'm also going to arrange the tools and go and arrange it to a grid. So that way now all the nodes are secured to a grid, and that will just organize the entire setup. So now let's move the media out one to the right. This is basically the output that will be going to the edit tab. So now you want to drag down a background node from up here. Just put that down, and then you also want to get a text plus node, which is right here, and that'll be connected with a merge. So basically what a merge does is it merges a background and a foreground right here, and then it has one output. So if I secure this to the media out one, and then I type in some text into the inspector right here, let's just type in test. You can see that the test merges the background and the foreground. So now if I change the background to say red, there is a red background behind the text. So with this right here, we almost have the structure of our project. I just need to move this over, this entire thing over just a tiny bit. So now we need to add two rectangle mask tools. So just drag it down and then connect it to background 1. And then we drag another one down and connect it to text. And this is the structure of our project. And we can disconnect this for now, but we will need to connect this up later. Okay, so now we don't need to mess with these nodes anymore. So now we need to change the attributes of these nodes. So the first thing we need to do is to change the background color of the background right here. We need to change that to white. So you need to click on color and then white right here, and then you need to click OK. So now we need to make sure this is in the viewer, and we need to change the width and height of the rectangular mask. So let's take this width down a lot. We want it like 0.00 something. So like, yeah, that should be good enough. And then now we need to reduce the height too. It's like a little more than the height of the text. And then we need to just move the rectangular mask by just pressing this arrow right here and then moving it to the left. Okay, so the second attribute we need to change is the opacity of rectangle 1 right here. So the way to do that is to make sure rectangle 1 is selected first, and then we need to make sure we're on frame 2, and let's take the opacity all the way down to 0, so now you can't see it. And we need to keyframe this. So if you don't know what a keyframe is, I highly recommend you look at my previous tutorial on what a keyframe is and how to use it. So watch that video, and then you can come back here and continue with this tutorial. So that said, let's go on. So we keyframed frame 2, and then we want it to show up at 100%, like you can see it now. So let's take the playhead and move it to frame 4, and then move the slider all the way to 1. So now we can see that if I click away from this real quick, that you can see rectangle 1. Okay, so now once we change the opacity, we need to change the positioning of rectangle 1, since we needed to pan across the text and make the text appear as it is panning across. So what we need to do is to move the playhead forward another 2 frames, and then keyframe the center thing. We need to keyframe the current position, and let's move it ahead about 10 frames. And then let's move the keyframe or the center position to the other side. So now if we go backwards with the playhead, you can see that the rectangle 1 is moving across text. Okay, so but now when we play the sequence through, it's a bit choppy. So if I deselect that and then just play it, you can see that it's kind of a bit choppy. So a way to fix that is to go into the Spline Tool with rectangle selected, and then now we need to just click on rectangle. We can have all of these checkboxes selected under it. So now what we need to do is click on zoom to fit, and then we need to highlight everything in here. Now we need to click S and then pull these tiny handles out to make it a bit smoother, and like change the speed of the bar to make it look a bit more natural. So now when we go back and play it, it will look a bit more natural. So let's play it through. Let's go through that again because it's kind of stuttering. Okay, so a way to fix this when it's stuttering is to click on playback, go to proxy mode, and then half resolution. So make it so that your GPU doesn't need to render so many pixels. So now let's go through that again. And as you can see, it's a bit smoother. Okay, so let's just close the Spline tab real quick. So the main purpose of this text swipe thing was to make the text appear as this was going across. But right now when I play it, the text stays there the entire time. So that's why we have the second rectangle right here. So as you can see, it is going over the entire text. So when I move it to the left, as you can see, the text disappears. So what we need to do is, as rectangle 1 moves to the right, we need to have this mask move along with rectangle 1 to make the text appear as rectangle 1 goes through. So let's going back to rectangle 1's keyframes. It had at frame 6, it's at the beginning of the text, and at frame 16 it's at the end. So let's go back to rectangle 2. We can move this to the left just a tiny bit. Yep. So now at frame 6, let's keyframe this right here, the position, and then at frame 16 we will move rectangle 2. So I'll just move this to about where rectangle 1 is. So now let's play this, go through each of the frames and see what both of the rectangles are doing. So right now they're in line, and rectangle 2 seems to be a bit ahead of rectangle 1, and that is showing the text early, but then rectangle 1 goes past rectangle 2, and now the text is showing late. So we can fix this by going back into the Spline tab, and we have to have both rectangle 1 and rectangle 2 selected, so we can deselect the level right now. And now what we need to do is to select rectangle 2, so we just select the entire thing. Oop, didn't select the entire thing right there. Now you select the entire thing, press S again, and then now they are aligned for the most part. So let's go through the frames again. So frame 2, frame 3, frame 4, frame 5, so on, and it seems to be in line. So yeah, that's basically it. So let's go through it. And now when I go back into the edit tab, you can see that when I go here and play through it, nothing happens. That's because we forgot to connect the merge tab to the media out, as I said earlier, which is what connects it to the edit tab. So now when we go into the edit tab, you can see that it's already popped up, so let's play it. And there you have it. So that's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.